love and support. I really do appreciate it. On behalf of me and my family, just the support's tremendous, and it's amazing to see a lot of people just showing love and support through a time like that. It's something that no one deserves to go through, and I just want to make sure I bring that to light to, for those who might be sitting back and dealing with stuff. I'm advocating for those people because I know it goes on a lot more. This isn't the first instance. This probably won't be the last, sadly, but definitely just letting everyone know that, this goes on. This is something that we have to deal with. This is something that needs to stop and something that people shouldn't be dealing with.
What has your teammates' kind of reaction been?
A lot of love and support. The disgust. It's just definitely one of those things that, a lot of guys probably weren't even aware of. Had a couple teammates that didn't know, what was going on, didn't know that was happening, and, voiced that they're, upset to see that as well.
How challenging was it to make the decision to go with it as opposed to just letting it be?
It was challenging, especially, it was a moment, sitting on that plane, I was debriefing, talking with my guy CJ Ham, and we were just talking and, talking about the game, of course, because it's a frustrating loss that you're dealing with. And then, dealing with stuff like that in a moment where you're down, kick me while I'm down. It was one of those situations where, I realized that I've been able to find my voice over the past few years with a lot of different issues and a lot of different things, going through my own mental health journey, understanding that there are a lot of people out there that either are dealing with worse or dealing with something similar that may not have the voice, have found their voice yet. So to be able to do that was really the main reason, to make sure that everyone understands as well. There's a lot of fantasy football people out there, and they think that it's all fun and games, and we have families, we have people that love us, we have people that we're doing this for. It's not a fantasy, this is real life. So just wanted to make sure I emphasize that.
Alexander, the support you've received since Thursday, what's that mean to you?
It means a lot, especially coming from my teammates, this organization, my family. It does mean a lot. Like I had stated, if you go back and look at the statement, none of this was for attention, none of this was for pity. It was to bring awareness and bring to light something that happens way too much.
As you go through this, is there any part or is there anything constructive in trying to determine who the people were and deplatforming them, or whatever the word is there?
That's something that I will never know if it's even possible to do that. I'm not really looking too far into it. I'm trying to move past it, but it is something that I feel like the platform should make it some type of way where these people making these profiles have to provide some side of information to where you shouldn't be walking around doing stuff like this and be able to hide behind that and still go maybe you're in a position where you have a career where you're interacting with people. You shouldn't be able to interact with people without going through some type of repercussions and some growth past making some outlashes and statements like that.
And do you think that you'll change the way you consume social media as a result, or is it just more in terms of the other people kind of changing the way they do it?
I think it's it comes full circle. I've been through the depths of my own mental health journey, like I said, so I have the tools necessary to make sure none of this affects me in the long run. None of it affects me deeply by that standard, but definitely is just something that I try and filter out and try and make sure that I can go through the steps possible to find ways to filter out as much of that as I can for myself and for my family.
Yeah, you mentioned your family. I mean, how does this affect them, and how do you try to make sure it doesn't affect them too much?
That's the sad part too. People don't understand how much it affects your family. That I have my wife and my brother and people trying to defend me publicly on comments and stuff like that. It's taken a toll where they don't want to see that, where they don't want to have to go back and forth with these people. But it's hard not to take certain things personal. I've had my dad talk to me multiple times at times that he got into it with people, and it's one of those things that just is you don't want that for your family. So it's something that's frustrating, something that I understand comes with it, but at the same time, it's what can we do to fix that? What can we do to make that happen less?
Right, but a lot of people probably say, well, why did you put yourself out there? But sometimes if you're silent, you're complicit many times, right? It's even though there's trolls out there, you need to stand up and shine a light.
Yeah, definitely. It's something that, the more you just kind of take it in, the more you kind of sit back and let it affect you, it can have a bigger toll. It can take a toll. So instead of, sitting back and just, letting it ride out, I think it was, for me, was a moment where I've dealt with a few outbursts like that before. I've dealt with, even, in person that night, there's a guy in the stands that's just repeatedly telling me he hopes my ACL is bust, and signaling that with his hands while we're warming up. And it was just one thing that just came full circle in a moment where it just kind of snapped in my head. It was just like, there's a lot of this going on, and it happens a lot, especially with the fantasy football people and all of that. That frustration, the NFL is meant to represent families, so we just need to make sure that we can all feel that from the fans and the players.
I mean, it's the racism that takes it to another level, right?
Yeah, definitely.
As disgusting as the ACL tears or whatever, it's the racism that.
Yeah, definitely. For me, I don't care if you tell me I suck. I don't care if you tell me, I shouldn't be playing. I really could care less about those comments. It's when you cross the line, make it personal, and you make it something that not only I have to deal with, but something that my family has to deal with. That's when we get, into a different realm of things, and that's where there's a line that needs to be drawn.
Alex, did you share publicly when you were on the plane, or did you sit on it for a while, think about it before?
Can't remember exactly the timing of it, but definitely was after a while of thinking about it and talking. Like I said, I was talking to CJ for a while, and just picking his brain as well.
I know you don't think about this when you stand up and speak your mind, but there's probably a lot of young kids out there that may or may not have reached out to you already saying, thank you, you've changed something for me.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, there's a lot of people dealing with a lot of different things, and if you can see that you're not alone dealing with things, and kind of see how someone else can handle it and get through that adversity, it helps out. So to be that example, I know even at the home game on Sunday, I was able to talk to a young kid who was being bullied back in his hometown because he was a Vikings fan and he was being bullied by some kids. So I was able to speak, some positive light into him, and he reached out to me to return the favor this time. So just things like that. It's always bigger than the game. It's always bigger than me.
Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
I see there was a lot of high-end gifted hats and a lot of stages. What has this team done since last Thursday to rally around Alex?
Just being there, being a good teammate for him. I know I was in there with him this weekend and just talking to him, getting, his stance on it, how he feels, just hearing him out. Sometimes a guy in that situation just wants to vent, and I was just being there for him, letting him know I'm here. I had a similar situation happen to me, so I tried to, make that compassion, just being there for him. I think this world can do a lot for you and it could do a lot against you, and that's why you just need those core group of people to always keep you stable and ready to, move on and move forward. And I think anybody out there going through a situation like that, needs somebody to lean on. And, I think our job as his teammates is to be those people to lean on.
What happened with you?
Same thing. Guy in the message said some very vulgar things. And, obviously I'm way past it now. But it's a very similar situation. Said almost, not same language, but very similar. So.
But
Yeah.
Josh, if people stay silent, some people they say they're complicit, right? So even though it was hard for Alex, hard for you to step out and say something, it's important too, right?
Yeah, it's definitely important because that's not okay. It's not okay anywhere. I don't see why anybody should condone that type of behavior or anything towards anybody. I think that's just not where I stand. Anybody should stand. And we need to do our best to try to keep that from happening. I know it's hard because social media, you can do that and nobody knows who did it. Obviously, we know there's ways. I know Alex has talked to some people, to figure out ways to, stop this from happening. But I would say, as much as we can to keep spreading the word or, just keep spreading positivity in the world, I think, we can try to limit the amount of time stuff like that happens.
Josh, how much does the team talk with you guys about ways to handle it, whether it's closing DMs or just kind of?
Yeah, they do a great job. I think the NFL does a great job. I know the NFLPA, as soon as it happened, they were sending out messages. posting stuff on social media just for players to see, where it's ways to turn off your DMs, showing you the step-by-step, the exact what to press, if you had any questions, what to press, how to get there, just to limit, the stuff, obviously there's still ways people can get those messages to you, but if you limit it on social media, it makes it a lot harder. So, just ways like that, them being open to just help us out and limit that type of stuff.
Are you of Alex for speaking out as to what happened to him after the game?
I'm glad, just the fact that he had the courage to do that and really to put the spotlight on what happens behind the scenes for players. And one thing, you make a good play, everybody's going to be in your DMs talking good and saying you're the best thing ever. And you make one bad play, they're going to rip you apart. So it's good that he was able to see that and really let the world see it, that it happens to all of us. But especially on the fake accounts, it's like you can't do anything about it. So I'm just glad that he was able to express that it happens to every single person. He spoke out against it from really the standpoint of every professional athlete, even college athletes and high school players, any player around the world. People say whatever they want, whenever they want on social media. But I'm glad that he had the courage to speak out for people.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.